Hi, I'm Anne, and I'm the default cook both in my home as well as a few corners of the internet. Welcome. Today we are going to be making our own DIY homemade all-purpose seasoning blend. What you're going to need for this is either an airtight container or an Old Spice jar. I'm just going to use an old one. Waste not, right? And then you're going to need your spices. Now you can vary this up a little bit, but this is a really great base recipe to use. I'm going to use granulated onion, granulated garlic, black pepper, sea salt, and paprika. Because this is a large container, I'm going to be using a 1/4 cup for my measuring, but you can use a teaspoon or a tablespoon. The ratios are going to hold. Just keep in mind that you want to make sure your container is large enough to store the mix that you make. The other tool that I have over here is I have some packing tape and scissors because I don't feel like digging out my label maker. I do have one. If you have one, feel free to use it. But I am just going to write directly on the container after we take these labels off and then put some packing tape over the writing so that it doesn't just get wiped off. Ta-da! So without further ado, let's start with our container. I am using a previous granulated garlic container, so I don't feel the need to wash this out because it's not going to have a different flavor from what I'm putting into it. So we're just going to pull the sticker off. The Costco ones come off relatively easily. You might need to wash the outside of your jar to get your containers off. Well, and as I say that, and then the back, of course, does not come off. The lamination does. And honestly, it's up to you whether or not you take this off. I'm not going to sit here and do this and waste your time. So if it's not a container of a spice that you're using, you can wash this out and make sure that it's very dry before you add anything in it because we don't want our seasonings to clump. And the ratio that we're going to use here is 1-1-1-1 on these 4, and then half on the paprika. It's the other thing the scissors are for, because I did not think to unseal these jars before we get started. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. So we have our 1/4 cup. Again, if you are doing a smaller batch, that's totally fine. We're going to do these by part. So you can use a teaspoon or a tablespoon if you want to start with a smaller batch. You can also use a funnel if your jar doesn't have a wide enough mouth. And we do want to leave a bit of space at the top because we want to make sure that we have some room to shake it around and stir it. So I'm going to be doing 2 parts here of everything but the paprika and 1 part of that. You know, I am going to grab my funnel just for the sake of that, although my funnel honestly isn't much wider than the jar. You can see it's kind of going to look like one of those sand things at first. Those were really popular when I got married. We didn't actually do one, but they were very popular. You can see this is going to be perfect for the size jar that I have. So if you are a Costco person or another get your spices at a warehouse club And last but not least, a little shy on the paprika because I just ran out. Let's see if I have a little. Haha. There we go. And that was perfect as far as that goes. And I'm going to stir this back on. And then we're just gonna shake it up. First, I'm gonna show it to you close up. And there we are. And now we are just going to give it a shake. I'm sorry if your position changed a little bit. I couldn't help but stop and take a picture of this before I shook it. And now we've got our nice blended all-purpose seasoning. So we do want to make sure that we have enough room in that container to shake it. Otherwise, you can just pour it into a bowl, stir it until it's completely combined, and then pour it into your container if you don't have the space for that. But why wash a dish if we don't need to? So we've got our all-purpose seasoning there, and we're just gonna write on there, all-purpose seasoning. You can even label on there what you put in it. And we're just gonna tape over that marker so that it doesn't rub off. I'm gonna need 2 pieces. I wrote just a little bit too wide and a little bit too tall to get away with 1 piece. And there you have it. Now you're ready to season chicken, fish, vegetables, anything that you reach for the same containers kind of over and over again. And now I only have to open 1 container to season those things instead of 5. Hope this helps. If it does, be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I will catch you next time. Remember, you are doing a great job, and I'm super proud of you.